Okay, let's start this again. I'm used to having my mixer turned this way, but you can't see it then. And I was thinking I was turning on my lock position. It'll be okay. There wasn't that much lost. Okay. Let's add some more flour. Milk. We'll remember the lock position's closest to me. And just pulse. Now we got the rest of our flour. Okay, so I've already added in my vanilla extract. This batter is extremely thick, which is good. So I'm just going to whip it just a little bit more to give it a little bit of extra air in it. Make it a little more light and fluffy. Okay, now the recipe that I use actually will make 3 9-inch cake rounds, so the one I will list below will just be like a standard cake. Or you can do the old boxed way too, that works. Don't be afraid to use box. See how nice that is? Look at that, you can move it. You get 2 of them for $1.25. Try to clean up as I go. So our mixture is nice and light. It's a real pretty yellow. This is a French vanilla. I did grease and flour my cake pans. And I put some parchment on the bottom so they'll release better. I like to smooth mine out just a little bit. After we get this all done, we're starting on the wedding cake, which is exactly the same cake mix. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and get. Okay, so we took all the cakes out. As you can see, this one's a little bit lower, but I'm actually going to use this for the ears of the cake that I need for the birthday party. So We baked them. I put them out, let them cool a little bit, and then we're just going to get our racks and we're going to flip our cake over. And the nice thing is it should release just like that. Smaller ones are easier to handle. And as you can see, we have the parchment on top, so all we have to do is just pull it off and we are good. So these will have to cool before we can even put them together to crumb coat. This one is going to be one of the bases for the wedding. These are for the birthday cake. So we'll let them cool before we even go to cut them, to even them, and then before we put them together with icing. So that'll probably be another point in time right now, because I got to make some more cake before I can do anything else and get some cupcakes in the order. So we will see you back shortly. Okay, so now we are going to start on our flowers for our cake that we have to do. That's supposed to be a little deer, so let's get started on that. Okay, so the flowers I'm actually making out of fondant, so I've already cut it open. So I need to pick off a piece here. When you're doing fondant, you have to make sure that you close the bag, because air will make it dry out. So we're just going to roll it out. So this is a fondant rolling pin, so I have one of those. And then I have this cute little flower cut out. So we're just going to push it down in here and cut it out. And nope, that didn't work. Maybe it needs to be a little thinner. Okay, so now on to my next step. I kind of made a little sketch I can put underneath. I can't put it underneath. What can I do? I'll put it on top. It's parchment paper also. So I want to do the eyebrows, or the eyelids. eyes are done, and now I just, let's see, that looks a little thick. Okay, so we have the nose done and the eyes, so we'll let all of this set. It has to set overnight to get hard before we can put it on the cake, and we actually won't do that until it's closer to the time for the cake to be picked up, because fondant will start to seep into your buttercream, so we want to make sure this stays as nice as possible. So we'll just let it set. It's not hot here right now. Of course, it's in the evening, and I think it's only like, oh, I don't even know what it is. It's probably about 70 degrees, so it's good. We don't have humidity. This one is starting to dry. These are starting to dry, so we will show you what it looks like when we get done and put it on the cake. Okay, so we're going to start on our buttercream frosting. So I need to double this recipe just so I can get the cakes covered with a crumb coat, and then we'll see how much is left. But I need to do a pound of powdered sugar, a cup of unsalted butter, a tablespoon of vanilla, and then 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream or milk, whichever you have on hand, and then a half a teaspoon of salt. So I will put that down below. So what we're going to do, since I have to double it, I need 2 cups of butter. So we'll start that off. So I am using salted butter, so I'm not going to worry about adding extra salt to it. Okay, so we just whipped it a little bit. I do have salted butter again, so I didn't add any extra salt. One little trick I do, because I forget or I get interrupted, I'm sure that's happened with you, is when I'm doing my powdered sugar, since it's per cup, I'll just take out toothpicks, and every time I add a cup in, I'll just take the toothpick out of the pile, and then I'll know that I have my 8 cups, since I'm doubling my recipe. So you just want to slightly pulse it so your powdered sugar doesn't fly. Making one batch, you only need 1 pound powdered sugar. That's come in a pound pack and 2-pound packs. So you can just slowly pour it in and out of the package. Okay, so now we need to crumb coat our first layer. So I've already wrapped my board. So I'm just going to put a little bit of icing on my board. Kind of wipe off the crumbs somewhat. Still nice and moist. Now for the wedding cake, I need to make peanut butter icing. So what I need to do is take out part of my icing and mix that. So I will set that off to the side. And we have my board ready for the birthday cake. So I just need to put it down here. Need to get an idea where to place it. The cakes are really still moist, so, and I'm just looking to make sure it's level. Now, since we need to add ears, I'm going to put it down. Because remember, this is my template I had of my deer. So I'm going to have the ears up here. So when you go to crumb coat, what you're going to do is put a layer of icing in between. I have an extra bowl to put in your icing if you get crumbs in your icing. Instead of putting it back in your bowl, you can put it in that little bowl instead. So since this is just a smash cake, we're only going to do 2 layers. Now when I go to do the wedding cake, I'm going to actually make it 3. So there's no crumbs on that. Get my second one here. Brush it off a little bit. Check it too. I do have my cake cutter, so if I wanted to make it even, which is if I'm just running along, there's nothing that's going to come off. So moist is still sticking to the counter. Now my cakes are completely cool. You don't ever want to do this if your cakes have a little bit of warmth to them. Your icing will just melt and you'll have a big mess. Put it on my turnstile. And this again is just called crumb coating. So all we're going to do is we're going to put just a thin layer of icing on the cake itself. So I just take my offset spatula and I'm just going to pull it down the side. This is the time when we want to fill in any of our cracks and crevices. I was looking for my parchment paper. For me, this is just a little easier. I like to take parchment paper. And you don't have to do this. I just slide it underneath the cake some. Just to keep it off my board for a little bit. It will wipe right up. So. Just feel like today will probably be messy. Just want it more in the front. The back's not going to matter so much. And again, we just want to seal in all these crumbs. Because again, the cake is super moist. So it is a little crumbly. And it's not a real thick layer. from this part, if you get crumbs in your icing, it's okay. We're just sealing them right in. And when I said have that extra butter. You do want to get it as smooth as possible. That's what I'm going to say. Because the icing that you're going to put over it will want to be on a smooth surface. So I do want to make sure my sides are smooth. And I'm just looking to make sure I don't have any gaps in the icing in between the cakes. Make sure it's smooth all the way around. So there, as you can see, that's pretty much a smooth consistency. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. The other icing will go over top. It'll help fill in the holes. When you go to do your top, to round up your edges, you just pull it to the center. And then you can take the excess off too. Okay, so there's our first one. Just making sure there's no real big gaps or pieces sticking out. I'm not a professional, so this is pretty good though. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and take that. Remember, all the icing I put on there, that's how much is still left in the bowl that I took off. We're going to go ahead and stick it in another bowl. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and clean this up. And then I'm going to try and figure out how to cut some ears. And then we will get those crumb coated. We'll place them right here at the sides of the cake, and I'll bring you back for that when we do that. And then this will actually go in the refrigerator and until it hardens, and then when you can touch it, you don't leave any fingerprints. So we will see you back in a minute. Okay, so now we have the ears. I kind of cut them out of the cake. So I'm gonna make a big mess. I just cut them down a little bit to even them out some, and then I just want to place them on the cake. Okay, so now they're going to be placed on the cake. And I'll crumb coat those. And I will put it out in the refrigerator to harden up, so the entire thing will be hard. So kind of like an idea, maybe. There we go. So the ears are on there. So we'll get that done, and then we'll get this back out in the refrigerator. And then when it comes time to decorate, we'll show you then. Okay, so I already started making the chocolate cupcakes. I apologize, didn't realize my card was full. So anyways, I put some white sugar, brown sugar, flour, salt, baking soda, baking powder, an egg, a 1/4 cup of oil, and now we're gonna add the milk. And we're just gonna Mix it together. We don't want to overmix this recipe. And since I totally forgot, let's see. Boop. You don't want to see me. You want to see the cupcakes. Here's the batch. I've already done 4 batches of the chocolate. So this chocolate will actually have peanut butter icing on it. So that is what we've got. One more to do for 2 different orders. And then we'll bring you back and hopefully do the vanilla.